And so we're going to start our top five this week. And our top five has some rules to it. In fact, both of us were working on this top five literally like minutes before we went live tonight. And that's the other reminder, guys, if you are watching this in the future on December 20th or beyond, we are live on Twitch every other Monday with this show. So you guys make sure you check us out there on the Boston Chris Show Twitch channel, because Kadie doesn't have a Twitch channel yet. We need to work on that, and then we can collaborate and go live on both of our channels if you have one. Just so you know, we can do that.
That'd be a good idea.
We could. So anyway, our top five this week is our top five Nepo baby music artists, and so this is typically Nepo baby means a child that comes from money, essentially.
Yes.
But we are being a little more specific in that basically this definition is the people on our list have to be second generation musicians or artists, meaning that their parent, as long as their parent has some kind of role in music, then they would count as a Nepo baby in our universe. And so we're not doing this based on success or anything like that. We're doing this completely on our own opinions and our own favorites, okay? And Kadie went first last week, so golly, that means I got to go first this week. And that's a struggle because I have a lot of honorable mentions. And I am going to talk about my honorable mentions real quick without going too far into them. I got Lisa Marie Presley on my honorable mention. I got Willow Smith, Lola Lennox, Annie Lennox's daughter. Zoe Kravitz is on my honorable mention. And really the honorable mention I really wanted to talk about was Lulu Simon, because she is really new, and that is Paul Simon and Edie Brickell's daughter. So she's not only second generation, but both of her parents are artists. But she did not make my top five either. And now I'm worried because Kadie just thought of somebody. I can literally smell the smoke.
You said it the right way for me to Google it finally. Second generation artists.
Yeah.
And I just found a whole list.
She's changing her answers. Anyway, my number five is Paris Jackson, who is, of course, Michael Jackson's daughter. And I feel like there's a lot of folks out there that don't even know that she's an artist. She's a songwriter. She's fabulous. Has a record out that came out in 2020 during the pandemic. And I hope you guys will all check her out. And the reason why she's above Lulu is because I just learned about Lulu. So, and I've known about Paris for a little while. All right, Kadie, what is your number five?
Okay. My number five is Zoe Kravitz. Just because, first of all, even if I'm not crazy about her music, I love that woman. Mm-hmm. She is just like, she is a woman. That's all I got to say on that.
I love Zoe, too. She was tough for me to kind of leave off, but you guys will see why. My number four is Lucas Nelson, who is just Willie Nelson's son, obviously, and just a fabulous singer-songwriter. And I always kind of make fun of him and meme him a little bit because he sounds so much like his dad. You know, like his voice is nasally, just like Willie's, and all of that stuff. But man, I love his style, and his songwriting is so good. You can tell he's Willie's son. What's your number four?
Okay, I'm going to say my number four is Shooter Jennings, which that's one I don't think you thought about. Maybe you did. But anyway, I love Shooter. Just cool dude.
Okay, the only problem with Shooter Jennings is... let me think. Is he Waylon's son or grandson?
Son. Shooter was...
See, I thought he was grandson. I guess I was mistaken.
No, he's... Who died? What's his name?
Terry.
Yes, that's his brother.
Okay. I think you're right. Yeah, I think Shooter was the youngest, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I see. The reason why Shooter didn't make my list is because I thought he was Way's. I thought he was Way's brother. No, that wouldn't make sense because Terry wasn't Shooter's dad. Duh. Okay, that's a good number four. It's a good number 4. I don't think he would have made my list, though, to be honest. I'm not a huge Shooter Jennings fan, so. In
I think
fact,
he's pretty cool.
isn't there a Struggle Jennings, too? I think that's a grandson, though. I think that's a grandson. All right, my number 3 is Enrique Iglesias. Of course, his dad was Julio Iglesias. Julio was probably the world's greatest, or not greatest, but most successful artist at one point, or most popular artist at least. And Enrique did well as an artist in his own right. What's your number 3?
So this one, and it's valid. You can Google it. It's another one I found on the list. And it's actually an artist I absolutely love. And that would be Norah Jones.
Yes.
So her dad. Okay, so we're there. Okay.
Yep.
I thought I was going to have to explain myself.
No, her dad was an Indian musician.
Composer.
If I remember correctly. Yeah.
And he played the sitar.
Yes. Yeah, he was a sitar player. Yeah, I considered her as well. But I didn't think people would know who her dad was.
I don't care.
My number 2, I struggled with number 1 and 2 because I actually, I have really warmed up to who my number 2 is. But I had a really hard time putting her over the number 1 just because the number 1 is just super, super talented and probably the greatest singer of all time. So it was hard for me to choose number 2 over number 1. I got Miley Cyrus at number 2. And like I said, this was a real tough one for me once you guys see who my number 1 is. Who do you have at number 2, Katie?
Well, I just realized that there's a similar theme. So, okay. Okay, so Whitney Houston is my number 2.
Okay. So you have you have the opposite of my 1 and 2, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Whitney, I was never, Whitney is just badass. Like, you can't not love Whitney. Whitney was like a pioneer, you know? Like, you can't not respect and love her. And I think she definitely made the most waves. Not most, but quite a few to be up on this list, even though I'm not like the biggest fan.
Yeah. I think this is.
I just don't like go around listening
guys,
to
I
her
think
music.
this might be generational. I think our 1 and 2 are correct, but I think the reason why my number 1 is number 1 and your number 2 is number 2 is because of the generation difference, generation gap. I think if you were my age, you would not put Miley above Whitney just because you would feel dirty. Trust me, I would feel dirty.
No,
by
I
doing
understand
that.
it.
Yeah. But yeah, I have Whitney at number 1. Clearly, Katie has Miley at number 1. So we're flip flopped here, which is cool. I think that's cool that we were really close on who we picked for 1 and 2 because I think they are the 2 that everybody would choose at this point.
Yeah. Miley, I was a Hannah Montana kid.
Right.
I don't know what to tell you.
And that's what I meant by I started warming up to Miley recently. You know, once.
And man, Miley, that woman.
She has a documentary or like a I don't want to call it a documentary. It's almost like an acoustic show. I want to say it's on Disney. I don't think it is though. No, maybe it's Apple TV.
There's clips like performances from it that you can find on YouTube.
Yeah, really I saw that. I think that was the reason why I got Apple TV the very first time, and it just made me feel differently about Miley just watching that show.
I'm gonna say something controversial.
Uh-oh.
I don't really like the Eagles. And just because, and you know, say what you want, amazing harmonies, great band, all together great. But, you know, I'm a musician. This person could have done so much better, but because they sound like the Eagle, kind of crap, you know, whatever. But she did, what's the name of that song? The only song I like. Take It to the Limit.
The Eagles?
She did. Is that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Eagles, yeah.
I was like, wait, am I delusional? Yeah, she did, I think she did Take It.
You're talking about Miley, right?
Yeah.
I just thought of somebody else that could have made our list, Jacob Dylan from the Wallflowers.
I saw that. I wasn't crazy. But yeah, her doing Take It to the Limit. Okay. It's not from that. It came out in 2020. but I love it. I love that.
But those are our top 5 second generation, aka Nepo baby musician artists. Who are some of y'all's favorites out there? Because I know some people are probably going to scream Taylor Swift here because her dad was a record executive. That's not going to count in my book. But if it did, Taylor would be obviously much higher on this list for sure.
Yeah.